मिले तुम हमको बड़े नसीबों से चुराया है मैंने किस्मत की लकीरों से.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Nikki here. So today I have this EID makeup tutorial, and then I've also popped on a hijab for you guys to see what the final look looks like. I think that's all I've really got to say. This look took me so long. It took me about 4 hours to create. I don't know why. I just took my time. I wanted to be slow with it and get it perfect for you guys. So I hope you guys really like it. If you want to see how I achieved this look, then just keep on watching. Okay, so let's get started. I'm actually going to start off with the eyes because I'm going to be using a little bit of glitter. I want to go kind of like soft glam, but I want to use a little bit of glitter. So to start off with, what I have been doing is I'm just going to prime my eyes. Now to do this, I'm going to be using the Revolution Conceal and Correct. This is one of their newer shades because it's in banana, so it's going to be the brightening shade. I like to use this underneath my eyes as well, but I'm going to use this just to prime. I've been doing this recently where I kind of carve out my brows before I even fill them in. So we're going to do this step just taking a small brush, just going underneath the brows and covering the whole of our lids, and then I'm just going to use a beauty blender just to sponge over that. I'm just now going to use a little bit of powder. I like to use my Cover FX powder, which is a translucent. This is in translucent light, and I'm just going to kind of pop this over my eyelid and pop it everywhere that we've popped that concealer, but just a little bit just to set it in place. Okay, so the next step is completely dependent on what you guys like to do. I like to do my brows first because I like to shape the eyes before I start doing eyeshadow. Some of you guys like to do eyeshadow before. It really doesn't matter. For eyebrows, I'm going to be using the ANASTASIA brow pomade in dark brown as per usual, just using an angle brush. My brows are pretty full, so I'm just going to fill in gaps, make them a little bit longer because they're a little bit short, and I like to make them a little bit thicker as well. So I'm just going to use the angle brush just to fill them in. Okay, so once your brows are on, I'm going to just set them in place using the Benefit Gimme Brow, and this is the shade number 5. This is just going to set them in place, make sure that they don't move, all that jazz. Not like they're really going to fly off, but it's just an extra step I like to take because it adds a little bit of texture and it just sets them in place. Now let's move on to the fun stuff, which is the eyes. I'm going to be using my really beaten up Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm going to go in to the shade Raw Sienna to start off with. I'm going to be popping this with a fluffy brush just into the crease to give us a little bit of depth, a little bit of warmth, but still sticking with our kind of natural skin tone. So notice that when I put my transition shade, I'm not afraid of being messy, so I'm coming all the way out here because I'm going to clean that up, and then I'm also going into the inner corner here because I want to bring the shade in. I don't want it to kind of stop. I want everything to blend. Okay, so now that we've got that transition shade down, I'm going to go into MAC's Swiss Chocolate. The reason why I'm using this colour is because it's got that really nice chocolatey warm tone to it, and I want to be popping this into the crease. So I'm going to be taking a smaller blending brush. This is a BH Cosmetics number 6 brush, and I'm going to take this colour, very similar to how I use the transition shade, but just popping it a little bit lower. So now just popping it in to the crease just to really create some depth and warmth there. Now I've got them 2 colours on, I kind of want to go a little bit darker, amp it up a little bit. So I'm going to go into the Anastasia palette again, and I'm going to take the shade Cyprus Umber. Taking a smaller blending brush, even smaller now, is the BH Cosmetics number 7, and I'm going to pop this right into my crease. Now sometimes what I feel happens is I get a bit too happy with the dark colour. If I'm honest, I feel like this is looking a tad bit dark. So what I'm going to do just to try and salvage that is I'm going to take a little bit of red ochre, mix it with a little bit of Love Letter from that Modern Renaissance palette, just on a fluffy brush, and just lightly dust it over the top, just to bring a little bit of colour back into my eyes. Yeah, I do feel like it makes the tiniest of difference. It brings a little bit of that warmth back through. Now I'm going to attempt to do some kind of cut crease. I'm going to do like a, in my head, obviously because I've not done this look before, I'm going to do like a half cut crease up to about 3/4 of the way. And I want that to be like pigment and shimmer, all that kind of jazz. So just to cut the crease, I'm going to be using that Revolution Concealer in Banana. Again, the Conceal and Correct, using the same brush. I'm just going to give myself a really defined half cut crease. So I like using this concealer just to cut the crease because it's not transparent. It dries completely matte as well, even though I am going to set it in place, but it just kind of, it's not too slippy slidey, which is what you want. You want it to be creamy enough to cut the crease, but you don't want it to be too creamy that it's going to transfer everywhere, and you kind of want it to almost half set in place as well. I'm again very lightly just going to set the half cut crease in place using my Cover FX powder. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into that Swiss chocolate colour, and I'm just going to pack this on the outer 3/4, just pack it and then buff that out, just so it's not like a harsh line where our cut crease ends. Then just going back into that Modern Renaissance, taking a little bit of Cyprus umber. I'm just going to pack this onto the outer edge and buff that out as well. Okay, so I'm going to be going in with some kind of like rose goldish vibes. So I'm going to be using the Revolution Pro Supreme eyeshadow palette in Captivate. I love this palette because the pigments are so pigmented. I've never felt anything so soft and so pigmented. And there's this beautiful kind of pinkish shade right here. So I'm going to mix that with the one above that is a little bit more nudie. And I'm going to pop this all over the area where there is that half cut crease with just the exposed concealer. Okay, so now that them two pigments are on, they look a little bit like this, but I want to add a little bit more sparkle, and I want to add that just in the inner corners. So what I'm going to use for that is this glitter by, I believe it's called Niji, and it's kind of like, I want to say like a silver iridescent kind of pink sparkle. Then I want to mix it with a little bit of STILA's Magnificent Metals in Gold Goddess, because even though it's gold, it's not like a pure gold. And also the adhesive in the STILA will help this stick. So I'm going to mix these two together just on a dish, and then use a really small eyeliner brush just to add a little bit of glitter for the inner corners to add that little bit of pop. So this is what it kind of looks like with the glitter on. I don't even know if the camera's picking it up, but it looks really nice in person. I feel like, don't you feel like if you just add a splash of glitter, it just makes a look, doesn't it? It really makes a look. It makes your eyes really pop. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of my cleanser. I like to use the Bioderma and a cotton wool pad, and I'm just going to clean up my eyes because I'm happy with how they're looking. So I just want to clean them up and give them a really nice kind of feline flick at the end. Okay, so personally, I'm the type of person that can't really finish the eyes. I can't do liner, lashes, all of that jazz until I've completed the face. So I'm going to move on. Let's just jump on to the skin. To start off with, I'm going to be using the MAC Prep and Prime. This is the Essential Oil Stick because you know what? Recently, my skin's been feeling super duper tight. So I'm just going to be popping this all over the skin and massaging it all over the face and down the neck area. I may as well just pop on a little bit of lip balm whilst I wait for that to soak in. Because I want my skin to still look dewy, I'm going to go in with Peachlite by MAC. This is their Strobe cream. It's got kind of like a peachy, pinky undertone to it, which is going to be really nice with this look. So I'm just going to pop this all over my face, just massage it onto my skin. Moving on to foundation, let me stick with the things that I like, things that I know that are going to work. So I absolutely love MAC Face and Body, and that's what I'm going to be using today because I feel like it'll go nicely with this look. I don't want, because I've got glitter on the eyes and they're quite heavy, in my opinion, I feel like I want a little bit of a lighter base, but I still want it to be flawless. So I'm going to achieve that using my MAC Face and Body in the shades C5 and C6. I'm just going to mix them together and then just use a beauty blender just to beauty blend them all over the skin. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly bring something up that is completely off topic. But if you guys are planning on dermaplaning, I don't know if you've seen me do it on this channel, it's when you take like a little razor and you can just take off the little bit of hairs, like baby hairs or hairs on your skin. You're not supposed to do it that much, but it just gives you a really smooth appearance. I love doing it, but I've stopped doing it. The only reason being is I used to do my sideburns with it, so I did this area right here with it. I'm gonna resume to just waxing or threading this area because you know when guys shave, right? When men are shaving or they've got beards, you know it's got like the what is it, like the 6 o'clock shadow, like the dark shadow underneath. Well, that's what has started happening with me here, and it's only on this area. It's not on the whole of my face or anywhere, it's just on this area, because obviously I'm removing hair, and technically you wouldn't kind of remove, but I don't like to have any sideburns, so that's why I remove it. But it is just a little bit darker. You can't see it that much on this side because I've waxed it today, but you can see it a lot more on this side when there's not any makeup on it. I don't know if you guys can see it now. There's a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow, or a 6 o'clock, whatever that saying is. There's a little bit of a shadow here. So just to let you guys know that if you've started doing that, because it's a very cheap way of doing hair removal, but just bear that in mind. If you're taking away your sideburns, it may happen to you. Now, using my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the shades NC25 and NC45, I'm just going to mix these two bad boys together and pop them around any pigmentation. As per usual, you guys have seen me do this a million times. I'm just going to pop it underneath my eyes, and then just a little bit around my mouth area as well. Okay, so now I am going to go back to that concealer shade in Banana by Revolution. I'm going to use this just to highlight my face, underneath my eyes, just to lift them up, and also down the center of my face too. Now that I've highlighted, we all know that I like to do a cream bronzer. I just love it. I feel like all of these products will, I know they're all emollient based, and I can feel that they're wet on the skin right now, but they will sink in. Like, I promise you, they'll sink in to my skin. So for bronzer, I'm going to be using the Revolution Fast Base Foundation, actually, in the shade F13, just because I solely really like this colour. Even though it's a foundation, it's just really, really creamy. It dries down to more of a semi-matte. It's got a satin finish to it, and I just really like the colour of it. So I'm going to pop this in all the places that I would normally bronze. It's got a really nice warmth to it, and that would be on the cheeks and around my temple areas, around my jawline, then just a little bit down the sides of my nose as well. And then I'm just going to use a fluffy brush just to buff that product out. Now my base is practically done. I'm really happy with it. I'm just going to set my under eyes very lightly with the MAC Mineralise Loose Powder in the shade Light, just a little bit, using a sponge underneath my eyes, because I don't want any of my under eye concealer to move. I'm happy with the colour of it, I'm happy with everything. This will just help brighten a little bit. Moving back to my eyes now, I'm going to go in to Raw Sienna again from the Mono Renaissance palette. I'm just going to pop a little bit of that on my lower lash line using a fluffy brush. Then going back into this palette, I'm just going to go into a little bit of red ochre and Love Letter just on the same brush, and run that along my lower lash line as well. Now, just because I want a little bit of definition just on the lower lash line, I'm going to take the tiniest bit of Cyprus umber on a really, really small precision brush, and I'm just going to run that on the outer third of my lower lash line. That also just kind of helps connect this area to the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and add some liner. I'm actually going to be using a gel liner today, funnily enough, just for the wing portion, because I want it to be super, super black. So I'm just going to be using MAC's Black Track and just the brow brush that I was using earlier on the angle brush. I'm going to create a wing, and then I'm actually just going to go in with a pen liner using a Brush Black by MAC and just connecting it to the inner corner. Okay, I'm just going to use a little bit of a black eyeliner pencil. This can be any black eyeliner pencil. I'm going to be using the Ardell. This one's called Wanna Get Lucky Gel Liner, and it's just in the shade black. And I'm just going to tight line my eyes. I'm going to be adding a little bit of mascara to my top lashes, because we're going to be adding some falsies. So my choice of a lash today is actually going to be the House of Lashes in Iconics, just because they're going to give me like a feline flick, and that's what I want. I also want you to see a little bit of the eyeshadow too. So I'm just going to quickly go ahead and pop these bad boys on. Okay, now that my lashes are on, I'm just going to go ahead and use my extended play lash just to pop this on my bottom lashes. Okay, and now I'm being very like picky, but what I want to do is, you see in this inner corner right here, I want to go back in with my STILA Gold Goddess, load that up with glitter, and then just kind of not draw a line, but just emphasize that there's the glitter there, because I feel like it'll give me that kind of wet look. I've kind of got it on this eye a little bit more, so I just want to add a little bit to both eyes, just to really kind of shine. Okay, so now that my eyes are complete, we're going to move on to face. I'm going to use my Benefit Hoola bronzer just to add bronzer to everywhere that we used that cream bronzer before, just to set it in place and to add a little bit more colour to it. Now I'm going to add a little bit of blush. I'm going to be using my Revolution blush palette. This is in the shade Hot Spice. And you know what? I'm just going to mix these pinks together and just pop it on the apple of my cheek and then just blend it up towards my temple. For highlighter, I'm going to be using this beautiful highlighter. This one is from MAC Cosmetics. It's part of their Christmas collection, so you can't get it anymore, which is really sad. But I love it nonetheless because it's got no glitter, no sparkle, and it's kind of just gives you like a wet sheen. It's called Here Comes Joy. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of this just on the center of my face and also obviously on my cheekbones. I'm also going to pop just the tiniest amount on my brow bone as well. Okay, now moving on to lips. This is our final step. I'm going to be using NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Toulouse just to line my lip. I'm also just going to fill the whole of my lip in with this lip pencil. It's kind of a beautiful sort of mauvey colour, which I feel like will go with the eyes really nicely. Then I'm just going to go over top with Makeup Revolution's Matte Liquid Lip in the shade Buff. It's just a lighter pink. I'm going to pop this in the centre and then just give it a quick finger blend out. Now, because I want my lips to be glossy, I'm going to go over the top. I'm going to go in with Dose of Colours Lip Gloss by Desi & Katie in the over the top gloss. This has got gold sparkles in. I think it's going to just tone down that pink a little bit as well. Just to finish this look off, I'm going to be using the Revolution Hyaluronic Fix, and I'm going to spritz this all over my face just to kind of let all the makeup sink in, to let skin look like skin and just to refresh everything. Okay, so now that my makeup is done, I want to just quickly dry my hair because I was too lazy to dry it, so it's still a little bit wet. I'm just going to quickly go over it with a hairdryer just to dry it in place, and I want to show you guys the look with my hair down. But for you guys that are celebrating Eid, you may be wearing a hijab. So like I did last year, I'm also going to be putting on a hijab for you guys so you can see what the makeup looks like with a hijab on. Okay, so now that my hair is dry, this is something of, obviously depending on how you style your hair, this is how the makeup's going to look if you're just wearing your hair down, you're not wearing a hijab, or even if you're not celebrating Eid and this is just for, I don't know, a glam look that you want to do for an event that you've got to go to or a dinner or something like that. This is what the hair will look like down, and the makeup will look something a little like this. Okay, so seeing as this is my Eid makeup tutorial, it makes sense for me personally just to put and try on a hijab to show you guys what it will look like. I've fallen in love with Chinute. I follow her on Instagram and YouTube, and she does this beautiful kind of low turban style hijab, and it's so beautiful. So I'm going to attempt to do that today, so wish me luck. So what you're going to need is you're just going to need a scrunchie. I'm going to just start off by taking my hair and popping it in a low bun. So my friend Sarah has actually supplied me with all my needs today. She's given me this scrunchie, which I believe gives you like a volume. You can put it at the back, you can put it on the top if you've got more of a turban style. Just gives you that volume. She's given me that. She's given me a multitude. She's actually given me more hijabs, but these are the ones that I'm going to pick from. She's given me a grey, she's given me like a brownish khaki, and then she's given me this kind of a blush pink colour to go with my outfit because I told her what kind of makeup look I wanted to do. Bless her, she's also given me like pins, so if I was going to do it in a classic hijab style and I needed to pin it here, she's given me pins, and she's given me the pins that you can put in just to hold your hijab in place. So I kind of don't know what I want to go for. I know that I need to use an underscarf, but I don't have one, so I'm probably going to use one of these as my underscarf. But just for my hijab colour, I'm feeling like either the khaki or the blush will go with it. I feel like the blush will go with it and add colour. Well, keep it kind of light and airy. So I think I'm going to go with this one. And I think I'll pop this underneath. Will I pop this one underneath or this one? I'll pop this one underneath just to use as my underscarf. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead is I'm going to go, and she told me that what I need to do is just pop this scrunchie right over my bun. You don't need to double do it. It just needs to be popped right over like that, just to give it a little bit of volume. So I'm not going to lie to you guys, I have no idea what I'm doing, but what she taught me was you want to fold this fabric over, and then I want to put this on my head just so it kind of covers these little bits and it smooths them out. It also stops your scarf from slipping. So I'm going to pop this bad boy on over the top, and then I'm going to take it around the back, knot it, bring it back up, and then just kind of like knot that away. Listen guys, this is hard work. I'm sweating because I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying. A star for trying. I'm going to take one of these pins and just kind of like pin this away, I think. Okay, now that that's, oh, I've got a bit of glitter there. Okay, now that that's on, I feel like this is kind of like what Chanutae's low buns look like. I don't know, gal, if you're watching, let me know down below. But I want to put the actual hijab, this color, on. So I'm going to kind of do the same thing, and I'm just going to watch her tutorial on YouTube to see how she's done it. So to start off with, I'm going to take the hijab, and she says that you want to fold it a fourth of the way.
Then crisscross it and bring it over and inwards. Just like the first step you do in tying your shoelaces.
Okay, then she said that you want to bring it over, take it under, and take two parts, and then she said you just want to cross it like you would a shoelace at the back and bring it over. Okay, so I'm legit sweating, but Chanutae is saying that once you've tied it like a shoelace, you're gonna wrap one piece around the bun on one side and then wrap the other side around the bun on the other side. So once I've got it around the end, I'm just gonna take these two pieces and knot them together. And then I'm gonna take these little frilly bits, she likes to call them like frolicking bits, and just tuck them in or pin them wherever I feel fits best. Okay, if I'm honest, I don't think I've done the best job, but it gives you guys an idea, right, of what it would look like, what this makeup would look like with a hijab on. Alrighty guys, so that is it for this Eid makeup look. I hope you guys like how it ended up. I actually love it. I think it's really super glam. This would be beautiful for prom as well. But I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Leave me all your comments down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it as well. And I think that's all I've got to report. Follow me on my social handles, that'll be down below, so you can stalk me there, where I update on Instagram daily, so you can keep up with me there. And that is it. I love you guys so very much, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah!